So there's always been a bucket list thing for me to customize my Madcatz Street Fighter X Tekken stick for the 360. And let me tell you how I went about doing this. I want my art on my stick. Does this sound selfish? Maybe, but that's just what I wanted, right? So one of the primary things I thought about when it comes to making a stick is who's going to be on it. That's obvious, right? So I wanted every character, I wanted a collage of characters that I main on various fighting games to be on a stick. So like some sort of linear sequential collage of characters that I consider my main, I wanted that to be on the stick. And so I actually made a list, right? And so here's that list. So to start off, we have Evil Ken. Now this is going to be the top person that I wanted to select. I grew up with Mugen, I'm a 90s kid. And this just encapsulates so much that I like about fighting games when it comes to Evil Ken's gameplay. His supers, obviously, there's a link in the description. Check out my Evil Ken mastery video as part of my character mastery series, just to speed you up in terms of who this guy is. But to me, this is one of the most impactful characters to me as a kid. And if you can see here, for the honorable mentions, I have Ken from Street Fighter Alpha Series, CVS 2, Infancy 2. And so I didn't want to have 4 or 5 different Kens on my stick. So I think it will be better to represent him as Evil Ken from Mugen, because to me this is the coolest version out of every single Ken. So I think that I can just scratch this stuff out. Next was Oni Akuma from Street Fighter 4 AE Arcade Edition. So obviously Oni Akuma to me is the quintessential version of Akuma. Yeah, and Oni Akuma, he's just so cool to me. He's definitely my top main on Street Fighter 4, you know, and so I have to put him in there. Next, X23. This whole game got me back into Marvel Comics, to be honest with you. And starting from reading, you know, X23's Target X backstories. X23 honestly is my favorite character on Marvel Capcom 3. She's so cool. She's super quick, has nice cross-ups, a high skill tree, especially if you use the Mirage Feint canceling. And so yeah, X23 was definitely a top selection out of my list. So next is Charlie. This is my favorite character in Marvel Capcom 2. Actually, I will say Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the most impactful video game I've ever played, to where this is a big reason to who I am today. The fact that I even draw and animate is specifically because of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. As I got older and played it on the re-release for the 360, then Charlie was the main character that I really trained at and got good at, and he's my top character on the game. Next will be Miguel, and that goes without saying. If you're on this channel, you're probably here because of Miguel and Tekken 7 in particular. But obviously Miguel, I mained him in Tekken 6. I'm favorite Tekken character of all time by a large margin. Spanish bar fighter, brawler. My channel is here because of Miguel. So Kagura Muski, Blaze Blue, my type of guy. I like the brawn, brazen, confident type of characters, obviously, if you couldn't tell by now. That's really when I first got into Blaze Blue, around Chrono Phantasma Extend, you know, when you really got Kagura and then you got Azrael. You start getting characters that I kind of liked more from a design perspective. Kagura, you know, this is my main on Blaze Blue. Loved his English voice acting. His playstyle is amazing. It's very stance-based. It's really like Miguel, if you think about it. Sabretooth, if I were to say who do I consider my main and not just I need an extra guy for a 3-man team, definitely it will be Charlie and it will be Sabretooth for sure. Next will be Ghostblade from DNF Duel. I just like the cool characters, bro. I don't know what to say. So the thing is that he has a ghost in his arm. If you look at the black part of his arm, and that is his stand that's kind of attached to his body, or it can be summoned through his body. I'm not really sure. I haven't read the lore, haven't played Dungeon Fighters, you know, stuff like that. Needless to say, there's 2 people. There's Ghost and then there's the Blade Warrior. I decided, hey, let me make 2 versions of this character. One drawing, one half of them is the Ghost and the Blade, and the next character on the arcade stick is flipped. So let's say the left part is Ghost, right part is Blade, and then the second character, the left part is Blade and the right part is Ghost. Hopefully I said that right. You know what I mean? One is Ghost Blade, then one is Blade Ghost. So because there's 2 characters attached to one, I put them twice on the arcade stick. Nikali Street Fighter 5, there's not much to say. This is just my main, really. Love this guy. And lastly, Beautiful Joe. This was my main on the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I would say X23 was more so Ultimate. I enjoyed him when the game first came out. I enjoyed him. He's a cool character. Never played the Beautiful Joe before Marvel vs. Capcom 3, then I went back and actually played it. So I'm a fan of Beautiful Joe. I think he had a very cool incarnation in this game, you know? So yeah, that's the character list. Now the honorable mentions, see, the thing is that I had it to where I only want characters that I use an arcade stick with to be placed here. I have many more mains that are on various games, right? And to add to that, okay, well, what's the background going to be? Well, there was always something I kind of wanted to do. You know, it's always in the back of my mind. So there's a guy here named Clayson Cavalsanti. I don't know how to say that. He draws a lot of MVC2 concept artwork style, right? Where you have this like warm yellow light and you have this beige and cream colored canvas. And so he was doing, he's like one of the only ones who did this long after the free MVC2 movement stopped. So this is like kind of how he does it, right? If you guys may be unaware, MVC2 Charlie, let's say that. You go to here, you can see that this is the style of the official MVC2 kind of artwork, kind of like that, you know? So he does it in that vein. So there was one particular one he did here to where I commented saying that, did you build the texture BG yourself or download it somewhere? I want to sketch a character in this style too, good stuff. He said, hey man, I actually built this using the screens from PS2 version of Art Gallery. One of the best features from PS2 version of PS2. I didn't even know it had that, by the way. And so he sent me this, which is kind of like a canvas of what he talked about. And so what did I do? I just blew that up. So that was my answer to what background am I going to use for my arcade stick. I plan to do every character in that type of style, right? Originally I wanted to do that lighting, but as you'll see, the time-lapse drawing progressed, then I eventually just decided to shift the colors in a warm light, but not have it that strong like the concept art. So let's briefly talk about the characters. So I wanted a collage of all of my characters, I was going to have it go through the buttons, but so eventually I realized that it needed to wrap around the buttons instead of go through the buttons, because drawing 12 characters, given the real estate and having it at a big enough size, would make it to where they wouldn't fit. What was my favorite coloring job I did when it comes to Sabretooth? The skin tight bodysuit of the yellow and the red, I think I did a very good job on that. And it's funny because when you make an arcade stick, you don't think, what should the notations of the buttons be? Should it be Xbox notation? Should it be Sony with the shapes? Should it be Nintendo with the A and the B reversed? You don't know. You have creative freedom over things like that. You never thought you'd think about stuff like that. So for me, what's my favorite console? What console producer in the past do I think did the best job and do I have most respect for? Well, it's Sega followed by Nintendo. So if I were to make a stick, I want the notations to be like a Sega controller. So essentially I just used the straight up Sega notation when it comes to using X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and considering the Z and the C, extra face button. And in the true Sega fashion, I did T1 and T2, trigger 1, trigger 2. You look at like Genesis controllers, if you look at Saturn controllers, it's kind of in that style, right? And so yeah, that's my process of drawing my own art for my arcade stick. Let me know what you guys think. And also, if you want anything like this, if you have an idea in mind, you want your characters drawn in this style or something similar, then let me know and I can do that for you. There's demand and interest. I definitely want to start providing services to people to provide art for an arcade stick with characters of your choosing. And message me, email me, then we can work together. Even if there's just a little demand, then I would ideally like to turn this into some sort of business and maybe do this for other people. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.